Hi, I'm Jules from Jules on Vacation. I had a 15 days in 2 months senior Eurail pass which I used in July and August 2023 while I was travelling solo. I purchased the pass when it was on sale. I had an amazing trip and would definitely travel using a Eurail pass again. The following are the things I learnt along the way. Tip number 1, is it worth it? This can be difficult to accurately work out. It is easier said than done, but if you have a plan of what you want to do, try and find indicative trip prices on each country's rail booking website and compare the total against the cost of a Eurail pass. Note that full price fares tend to be the cheapest when seats are released and go up closer to the travel date. However, if you book and pay the full fare in advance, you lose the flexibility to change plans that Eurail generally affords. For me, the Eurail pass was well worth it, as I spent 3 weeks in Scandinavia and probably got its value back after a few trips. I also used it through Italy, France, Switzerland, Germany and Austria. As a rule, I didn't waste Eurail travel days on short trips where the full fare cost was less than the average Eurail per day cost. I didn't find it value for money to use in Spain, as seats on Eurail were either very limited with a large seat reservation fee, or they were only released very close to the travel dates. For me, it was more economical to book seats directly on Renfe, the Spanish train booking site, when they were released a couple of months in advance. Using it in Eastern and Central Europe is also likely not to be economical. Tip number 2, when to book. For popular routes, book well in advance, especially in peak season. I tended to book about 3 months in advance. However, occasionally I found the closer it got to the travel date, more trip options would appear on the Eurail website. However, it is both risky to wait and hope for something better, and also frustrating if I'd already paid a non-refundable seat reservation fee and then a more favourable option came up. For less popular routes and regional trains, you could wait until the day to book your reservation or a few days before. I did this many times for day trips, depending on what I felt like doing on the day. However, if a seat reservation fee is required, these close on the Eurail app 1 hour before the train leaves. For other trains where there was no reservation fee, I would book as I was getting on the train to avoid wasting a travel day if I got to the station late or found the train had been cancelled when I got to the station. However, often my SIM wouldn't work on the platform and I would have to get on the train and hope the free Wi-Fi was working so that I could make the reservation before the train left. Also, some bookings require a paper ticket to be posted to you. So you have to book well in advance, and I found that was about a month, and pay for postage, which was around €10 for mine. Also, on many trains, it would look like there were seats available on the Eurail app, and it was only when I got to the payment page that it would show no seats available. So it is worth going through to the payment page, even if you don't end up booking then, to see what is available, especially for the same day return trip where a seat reservation fee is required. Eurail will usually charge a booking fee on top of the seat reservation fee. If there is a ticketing office at the station, you can book through there and avoid the booking fee. This worked for me in Italy, but I'm not sure about other countries, in particular Sweden, where I couldn't find any booking offices at the train station or ticketing offices at the train station. Tip number 3, look at options. If you have more than a one-leg journey, don't necessarily book the options suggested on the Eurail app. Often the app suggests legs with short interchange times, which can make it difficult if the first train is late or you have to change platforms. Find alternatives for your second and other legs to give you greater interchange time. You can list each leg separately in the app. Tip number 4, have a plan B. Trains are occasionally cancelled or late, meaning missing a connecting train. It is easier to work out plan B and even plan C's from the comfort of your own home before you leave, rather than trying to work it out on a platform where the internet may not work, and this happened to me a lot, and there was no free Wi-Fi and no ticket office or anyone to help you. I just had a list of alternative trains either in the app or in the notes on my phone. Always check the country's rail website to get the latest on trains, as I understand the Eurail app is only updated weekly and can therefore be out of date. I found out the night before that a key leg of my 5-leg journey the next day had been cancelled when I checked the French rail website. This gave me enough scope to find an alternative, which I wouldn't have had the next morning if I'd just rocked up at the train station. Tip number 5, using a travel day. Plan carefully when you'll turn on a travel day. If you turn them on too far in advance and you don't end up using it on that day and forget to turn it off before midnight the night before, you will forfeit that day. For any trips where there is no seat reservation, you can always turn on a travel day and book the trip on the app as you get on the train. I had all my preferred trips, including options, loaded on my app and then just turned on a travel day as needed. Tip number 6, consider day trips. On many days, I went on long day return trips, which meant that I didn't have to take my luggage and could make decisions about whether to go when I got up in the morning. I did a lot of these in Scandinavia and Austria. If you are doing a day return trip and booking close to or on the day, make sure there is a return seat available and book it at the same time. Often I found I could get somewhere, but there were no seats left that day for the return trip. Tip number 7, bathrooms. Bathrooms on the larger trains are free and generally pretty clean and roomy. Often at the station there is a €1 to €2 fee to use the bathroom. Tip number 8, set an alarm. I'd suggest that you set an alarm about 5 to 10 minutes before you reach your destination in case you fall asleep or lose track of time. Often the trains don't stop for long, and this 5 to 10 minutes will give you time to sort out your luggage, check you haven't left anything, and get to the exit. Tip number 9, where to sit. On trains where you don't have to pay a seat reservation fee, you are not allocated a seat. So I would just get on the train, wait for it to leave, find a spare seat, and then at each station wait to see if a full fee paying passenger who had booked that seat got on. Often the ticket checker would let me know which seats were booked for my whole journey and which seats weren't booked. Many times where I'd made a booking without a seat reservation fee on the Eurail app, the train would be showing as fully booked on that country's rail website. However, despite this, I never had any issues boarding the train, even when there were no seats available and I had to stand. The trains were often packed with Eurail pass users in the same position as me. Tip number 10, luggage. I didn't have any problems finding a spot for my bags on any train, but try to board early as the luggage racks fill up quickly and you may have to leave your luggage in the aisle. However, try to travel as light as possible. Often the steps were steep getting on and off the train, and sometimes there were steps inside the train. Also, the elevators and escalators were sometimes not working at the station, which meant going up or down very steep steps. On a side note, I've spent 6 weeks travelling around Southern Europe in summer with 8 kilograms of luggage, and that is now my go-to. Unfortunately, on my Eurail trip, I took a suitcase and I regretted every second of it. It was not only awkward, but plain dangerous getting on and off the trains and going up and down steep steps, especially given most of the things I took I definitely didn't need. Tip number 11, showing bookings. Often the rules will say you need to have a printed ticket. This can be difficult if you are somewhere without access to a printer after you've booked. However, I was never asked to show my printed ticket. An option if you want to play it safe is to go to a local library and use their printers. However, on every train, I did have to show my booking and my Eurail pass on the app. These did show up on the app even without internet access. However, maybe consider having a screenshot of both just in case. Tip number 12, log out. I'm not sure how this happened, but I wanted to cancel and get a refund for a trip I'd paid a hefty reservation fee for during my travels, and it was showing my booking as refundable. I tried to cancel the trip on the app on my phone, but it wouldn't let me. It seemed I was still logged in on my laptop on which I'd originally made the booking. Luckily, I had my laptop with me, as I normally don't travel with it, and it allowed me to cancel it. So to be on the safe side, log out of Eurail on any device that won't be with you on your trip. To note is that I messaged Eurail and they were very helpful during this. Tip number 13, refunds. Sometimes trips that you pay a seat reservation for can be refunded if you cancel. Look on reservation overview on the app to see if you are eligible for a refund. You won't be refunded for the booking fee though. And in summary, yes, I will absolutely get a Eurail pass again. I hope you enjoy your trip as much as I did, and thanks for listening, and I hoped that you got some benefit from this and liked my tips. Okay, thank you, bye.